Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, and thank you for joining me on another episode of Ask Sharifah Videocast. We have a very interesting show for you today. We're going to talk a little bit about home ownership. So I'm going to go ahead and ask you to do what I always ask you to do, and that's to go ahead and share this video, share this interview, because friends do not let friends miss out on Ask Sharifah. And if you're just now joining us in the chat session, if you have a question, if you have a comment, please feel free to ask your question or comment in the comment section, and I'll go ahead and read them to our guest. Today's guest is Mr. Thomas Blalock and Miss Anita Hill, and we are discussing the Road to Home Ownership Tour, June 8th in Irvine. Good afternoon. How are you today?
Real good, thank you.
Excellent, thank you.
You have a Road to Home Ownership Tour. Tell us a little bit about the tour and how it got started.
Well, we actually got started about it's been
Almost a year ago.
almost a year ago, and we do these events often because we want people to be knowledgeable about buying a home, and a lot of people are not aware of what the different down payments they have. A lot of people just have a fear, well, I don't know what to do. So this is why Thomas and I started this Road to Home Ownership Tour, so people can know we not only just speak about different loans, but we actually show how they can get started and remove the myth and remove the fear of purchasing a home.
Absolutely. And to piggyback on what Anita was saying is a lot of times people let fear hold them back. And what we're trying to do is create a format to show them, hey, you stay on this yellow brick road. We're going to show you how to get from point A to point Z with the least amount of stress and with the least amount of hassle. So, and that's how the whole tour came about, just from dealing with clients and some of the issues that they're going through, and just getting them over the hump to home ownership, the American dream.
That's
Yes.
exactly right.
So do you feel, and I guess this is a feeling, but I'm going to go ahead and ask, that home ownership is still part of the American dream?
Absolutely. Absolutely, because the number one wealth builder in the United States is still real estate. Mm-hmm. And one thing we're trying to get our community to understand is that, you know what, ownership home ownership can be a legacy changer for your kids. Mm-hmm. You know, you have power when you own something. You know, if you want to change the local government, own something in that neighborhood. It starts off, this is the foundation of, rebuilding our communities.
Absolutely. And you know, people have a fear, well, I want to own a home, but then once they get over the hurdle of removing the fear, they'll have a sense of pride. They say, this is mine. I'm no longer have to rent. So this is a reason for having these home ownership seminars.
No, that's wonderful. I know, maybe since 2008, there's been a reluctance for people to go into home ownership, to purchase their home. And so I didn't know, because it's been some time, if that feeling has changed. Is that still the standard feeling in the market, or what your views were?
We're seeing a lot more of the millennials. They're a lot more patient. They're a lot more thorough with their documentation and the information. So what we're seeing is that a lot of them will come up front and gather all the information, then go start looking for a house. So we're seeing that kind of a reversal in roles. In the past, typically clients went to a realtor first, then they came to a lender. Now we're starting to see a lot of potential buyers going to a lender first, getting their ducks lined up. Then from there, going to meet with the realtor and going out to look. So that's the biggest change that we're seeing since the crash of 2008, is that most of these buyers are actually doing their homework now.
What are your thoughts, Anita?
Oh, actually, he's just to piggyback on it. Yeah, he's exactly right, because they were going shopping. I call it shopping for a home first, and they weren't aware that they needed to go to see the lender prior to coming to myself. I'm a realtor, and to start shopping. And then they go, I found a house. Well, did you get pre-approved first? So it's true. They usually now know to go to the lender, and there's a process, and they shouldn't be afraid of that. Once they know the process, and I think that's the whole thing. People are afraid of, what do I do? Is it FICO driven? Can I get a home because I have poor credit? but we have answers for them. So we just want to make them aware of that.
Okay. And so these are some of the answers that you're going to go over at the Road to Home Ownership Tour, correct?
That's exactly right. I'm going to be speaking on renting versus buying, the pros and cons of it, because people right now, most people, I'm not going to say everyone, but most people are not aware that today you can. If you think that you have a low income, there are many, many loan programs that Thomas will be speaking on. We have other people that will be joining us. And then a lot of people are not aware that there's money management that is needed. And we do have someone, Michael Hempstead, will be speaking on managing your finances before you buy a home and after you're in a home. So once they know this and have the knowledge of it, I believe that they'll remove that fear and the myth that so many people hear about. I can't get a home. I have poor credit. I can't get a home. I don't have enough money. But there's answers to all of those doubts in their minds.
Mm-hmm. Now, Anita, we don't want to go too far into the renting versus ownership, because again, those are some of the topics that will be discussed on June 8th at the Road Home Ownership Tour in Irvine, California. But just briefly, are you able to tell us some of the benefits or why people should become homeowners?
Oh, yes, absolutely. The reason why, you have a sense of pride. Number two, you'll be able to renovate or remodel your home the way you want. And then you'll get equity. There's so many benefits to that. I'm just going to give a sneak preview, and then they have to come out on June the 8th.
Yes. And so, Thomas, what are you discussing?
Where to find the money. Where to find the money. I'm going to show people, hey, you don't have to be a millionaire to buy a house. You don't have to have a lot of money saved up. We have so many first-time home buyer programs. We have investor programs, or even let's say you want around for your second home. We have programs for you too. Don't let money stop you, and don't let the fear of not having the money stop you. And don't, like Anita said too, don't let credit stop you, because a lot of these programs, believe it or not, you don't need to have the best credit score.
Well, we have to definitely take a look at that. If you're just now tuning in to Ask Sharifah Videocast, we are speaking with Mr. Thomas Blalock and Miss Anita Hill, and we are discussing the Road to Home Ownership Tour in Irvine on June 8th. George McDowell, Dolores, Vashon, Kevin Jones, Chanel have joined us already. We have people coming in to the live session, to our live interview, and Kevin Jones says very good information. So people are enjoying the information that you're relaying. And listening to both of you, one of the key things that I keep hearing is fear, 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 fear. So often people are afraid of home ownership because they may feel as if they're already stretched to their limits. You know, I personally was someone who was laid off over 7 times. And so my income fluctuated greatly. You know, there were times I was making what I consider really good money. And there are other times when I'm like, I don't even know why I'm going to this job. And so during that process, home ownership, I can tell you right now, was the furthest thing from my mind. If someone is interested in getting out of being a rentor, but they don't know, you know, situations may change. They don't really want to go into this contract for any length of time. What type of advice or simply reassurance would you give that person?
You know, first of all, a lot of people, they have that fear. Mortgage. How am I going to meet my mortgage every month? And that's the fear. But, you know, there's some ways. I'm going to speak about house hacking. They can do it that way. You know, they can have other people to help them rent out their rooms in their house. So a lot of people forget about that. But there's so many ways.
And one of the things I look at too is that when I'm working on a loan application, I'm pre-qualifying a buyer. I'm going to make sure I set you up for success, not for failure. You might not get your dream home on this first home, but this would be a stepping stone to get you to the actual home that you want. You know, we might have to live in this particular house for 2 to 3 years, and then from that house, go to your next house. Build up the equity 2 or 3 years, and then go to your next house. It's a process. And what we try to do is create the clients for life mentality, meaning we're going to be with you every step of the way, from the beginning home to your final dream home. Okay, and I think that's the biggest thing I think we work at to get over the fear. Is just showing them that you can do this. If you believe in yourself, we believe in you already. But a lot of times, a lot of our clients don't have that belief system yet, and it's up to us to try to bring that out of them. Like, you can do it. We're gonna give you a map. Just stay on it, and we're gonna make your dream come true.
That's right. A lot of people want to start big, but you got to crawl before you walk. You can just find a nice, beautiful home that fits your need. You have to get in mind, what do you want? And remember, it's your home. You can renovate it. You can build on it. You can remodel it, you know. So a lot of people want to say, well, I want the biggest swimming pool. I want 2-story. But start small and make it your own. It's a sense of ownership and an investment. You are investing in your own home. So it's just awesome to have that.
Sounds like wonderful words of advice. Now, we spoke a little bit about the tour, but can you give our audience, Thomas, and then we'll go to Anita, a little bit of your background?
Absolutely. Started off in the lending industry about 15 years ago. Actually bought my first home when I was right before I turned 30. And I went through the process, and it wasn't a fun experience. So based on that experience, I said, you know, I think I can do this. And I went out, got my license, and I started helping my friends, then my family. And then from there, it became a snowball. And my whole reason for getting involved in this industry was to be a steward, to go out there and help people. Because I feel as though the more people I bless with the knowledge that I've obtained through these years, the bigger my blessing is going to be. So, and that's why I got involved in it. And then also, too, seeing the pride and seeing the emotions when someone actually get their keys to their home.
Yes.
I think that it takes away all the hard work or the late hours that we put in. We could actually see that mother and that father and that child actually get their own home. And that first time you see a kid get their own bedroom, I mean, it's powerful. I mean, it literally bring emotion to you. I'm talking about emotion. It's emotional.
Right. It is emotional.
Yeah.
How about you, Anita? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Actually, I got into real estate way back in 2004, and working with different offices. But, you know, it's the passion, because as Thomas was saying, people, it's a need that I have, people to help people. When I go show a property, I make it like it's my own. Something that if I see it walk in the door, I'll say, nope, this is not for her, or this is not for him. But I take it as if I am looking for a property for myself where I would want to live in. I take my clients at heart. Whatever they're looking for, that's what I look for. I go at depth. I have an app that they can share on their phone, that they can just, instead of driving up and down the street, you don't have to do that anymore. But I take passion in what they want, hear what their needs are, and what they are looking for their family. And it is a joy. When you hand them the keys to their home, oh my goodness, you know, it's exciting. So I have been with Berkshire Halfway Home Services. I was with Keller Williams at first, but now I'm with Berkshire, and I'm been there with them for about 2 years now.
Yes, I've definitely heard of both of those companies. High level, high name, big name, the top of their field. So that's definitely impressive. And so you went from both individually doing real estate, helping people, being stewards, loving the emotion of someone getting the keys to their homes. And then now we go on to the tour. Where is the tour?
The tour is going to be in Irvine, California, this Saturday, June the 8th. The address is 2010 South Main Street. And listen, you'll see a big structure, but the parking is free. Just follow the signs that says free event, free parking, and it's no cost. We don't believe in putting a cost on our events, because people need to have knowledge about the buying a home and getting the mortgage that they need. So it's going to be refreshments from 9:30 to 10, where you can meet the speakers. We have Michael Hempstead that's going to be speaking on managing the finances. We're going to have Lori Kellick and Dylan Rowland that's going to be speaking on the different loans. And Lori's going to be speaking, because some people might want to buy a manufactured home. She's going to be speaking on manufactured home versus buying a home, because of course the manufactured homes are a lot less expensive, but there are a lot of moving parts. So she's going to be speaking on that as well. And Dylan is going to be speaking on loans, a unison loan. Is that correct? And so it's going to be an awesome event that they should come out. We're going to have door prizes and refreshments.
And one thing I want to piggyback on what Anita just said too is this. You have a group of people from different companies coming together with the passion to educate people. And this is something that you don't see a lot. A lot of times you don't see different mortgage companies or different realtors or different other professionals from our segment coming together to do something free of cost, just to pass the information out for free, just to help you get into a position where you can too take part of this home ownership.
Yeah, and then also if you can get pre-qualified today. I mean, on that day. I'm sorry, on June the 8th. So there'll be other loan officers out there that be standing by if you want to get pre-qualified, and they will give you a roadmap of where to go and how to get started.
And something I didn't mention earlier, my website, www.blalockyourloan.com. Go on to the website. There's an application on the website, but there's also a tool. There's a tool on there that you can click on, and it will show you every down payment assistance program available in the area that you want to look in. Every single one that either has money or is active right now, real time. So a lot of times you might hear of a client going out to look at a down payment assistance program and they're out of funds. Go to my website, click on the yellow link. It says Down Payment Resource Center, DPR. Click on the link and put in a zip code or address, and it'll tell you exactly which programs currently have money all through Southern California and Northern California as well.
Okay, so when you talk about the programs that have money, what are, and again, I know we're going to talk about this at the Road to Home Ownership Tour, but what are, I mean, because it just seems, and I don't take it lightly, but it just seems too good to be true. People want a home. Okay, go fill out this program, qualify for this program, and they'll give me money and I'll get a home. I mean, are these government programs? What type of programs are these?
Believe it or not, I thought it was too good to be true as well. But these are government programs through the state of California, and some are federally funded programs. Some of these programs will give you enough money for your down payment and most of your closing costs. Some of the programs will give you enough money to buy down your principal so that you might be approved for, let's say, $300,000, but you can go and purchase a home for $350,000. But the payments will be based on the $300,000. I mean, there's so many different ways you can piggyback these government programs. And some of these programs are actually grants. They start off as a loan, keep it for about 3 years, and then the money that you receive from the program actually disappears. You never have to pay it back. Now, how good is that?
No, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. See, that's why you need this information, because I had no idea there were programs like this. I always hear about housing programs, but whenever I hear a program, I never really want to look into it because I feel like there's some criteria or, it just, I don't know, but my fears, I guess, get in the way of going to take a look at some of these programs. Now, let me just ask you again, and before I do that, if you're just now joining us, we are speaking with Thomas Blalock and Anita Hill, and we are discussing the Road to Home Ownership Tour, which is June 8th. Thank you to Ray Roberts, Jermaine Dickerson for joining us, a few more people joining us in the Facebook Live. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to ask your questions or make your comments below. Definitely supporting the show, sending you a lot of thumbs up, hearts, and love. So that's wonderful. We appreciate your support. And we definitely appreciate you sharing this interview because I, for one, am definitely learning a lot. But my question is this, in this DIY, do-it-yourself society that we live in, I think realtors are one of those industries that so many people are trying to do away with completely. They say we're replacing people with robots and automation. They just feel like, oh, let me go online, go to this website. I'm not going to mention any names, but go to that website, this website, and I don't need a realtor or agent to be the middleman. What do you say to that?
Myth, myth, myth. You do need a realtor. I'm your realtor. Realtor Anita, you do need one because there is so much you have to know. There is a process. A realtor will guide you through every step, every process. As Thomas said earlier, we're here for you. We're here to help you. You may run into a roadblock and get stuck. Then what? Can you go back to that robot automation? And then think about it. When you do go back to that site, you're chatting with someone and you're waiting. You don't get the exact answer. But listen, if you have questions, my website is LyonsMac, LYONMAC, realty.biz. You can put on, I have a link there, ask me any question. And when you come on, I pop up immediately and ask your questions. So listen, that's LyonsMac, realty.biz. That's LYONMAC.biz, BIZ as in zebra.
I want to piggyback on that one more time.
Okay.
One thing about Anita, you guys, is this. When it comes to an actual realtor, a real person that you can talk to 24/7, can't no robot replace that. If you have a title question that pops up, guess what? That robot won't answer that. And guess what? A lot of those people are not even in our state. So how do they know our rules and our regulations in this state like you're a realtor? You're a realtor, took classes, got licensed, know the law, anything pertaining to real estate, Anita. I'm going to say it 1,000 times, Anita.
Thank
Anita,
you,
Anita.
Thomas. Yeah, you know, Thomas and I got together because, I mean, I dealt with a lot of lenders, but I used Thomas because he gets the job done. And Thomas, listen, we had one person that couldn't get along. Thomas stayed up to almost 11 o'clock. And this is, I mean, listen, they needed to get into a home, and he stayed up to 11 o'clock to find ways to get them into the home. And they got into their home. So he's very creative with financing as well. So we consider ourselves a team because I know he gets the job done. So I bring most of my clients to him because he is an awesome lender, not because he's sitting here on my bosom, but he knows that we've been working together for about a year. So, and you know, their office is awesome. They get response. So I do enjoy working with him a lot, you know. So I want results, and Thomas gets the results.
That's why we call ourselves the tag team.
Yeah, that's why we call ourselves the tag team. It just starts with, we have another person, it's Gabriel. So it's Thomas, Anita, and Gabriel. So that's how we came up with the name, the tag group, you know. So tag us and we'll get results.
Oh, wonderful, 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 wonderful. So again, we're talking about the Road to Home Ownership Tour, and it's a tour. Where are we going from Irvine, or how does this tour going to be continued?
Actually, we're going to be setting up another one real soon. It's going to be in Los Angeles, and I believe that's South Central LA. So, and we're just going to move it around. Some people can't come to Irvine, but we're going to have another one next month in Los Angeles. So stay tuned for that. And we're inviting everyone to come out. And again, it will be free.
Also, join our meetup group.
Oh, yes.
We just started a meetup group. But we had our first event, our first tour event was last month in the beautiful city of Downey. And our second one is in Irvine. Our next will be in South Central Los Angeles. And we're going to piggyback it from there. But we created a meetup page. Definitely join it because we have other partners besides just what we do here as far as the lending side. We have another partner that's a nonprofit. Catherine McGillis.
Oh, yes.
She has a nonprofit, and she does a lot of the first-time home buyer educational classes. We have another partner that's into investing, and she's going to be doing a lot more events regarding investing. As a matter of fact, you guys just came back from Detroit.
Yes, and I just came back from Detroit because
Sabrina Horton.
Yes, Sabrina Horton and her team. And we'll be having her to come out because some people may not be interested in purchasing a home. They probably have their home, but they want to invest in real estate. And I just flew back yesterday from Detroit, and oh my God, it was just, I don't want to give too much away, but it was an awesome event. They are growing out in Detroit, and they have fabulous homes, beautiful city. They are revitalizing the city and Detroit, Michigan. It was just simply awesome. So we will have her, and then we'll have, like he spoke about, title company. We will have Sherry. She's an awesome title rep, and Kristen Gilmore. Yeah. So you need to know the process. It's a whole process to purchasing a home, and we want to educate people. And when they get educated, they'll be able to pass it along to their friends. You know.
We want to make this a legacy event, you know, from parent down to the next generation. Because one thing we see a lot is that it's not a lot of, I would say a lot of the minorities are not really buying like we used to. Matter of fact, our numbers, if you look at the numbers of Black home ownership or brown home ownership, it's pretty much the same as it was 50 years ago. We haven't made any kind of incline in ownership. And one thing we want to do is bring these tours around. Like I said, it's not just the real estate, not just the lending side. We want to teach you the title side. We want to teach you the investment side. We want to teach you about money management. Right. Teach you about your credit, and just bring a complete package just to be able to educate.
Right. Absolutely, because that's important. So don't let things like poor credit score, no money, because as he mentioned, Catherine McGill, awesome person, phenomenal. She will teach you how to, get a down payment. She has, a wealth of knowledge on that part. So yes, so we have other people that we can bring into our seminars to help them get mortgage ready. I like to say mortgage ready, and you can stay in a home. You will not be foreclosed. If you follow, as Thomas said earlier, the yellow brick road, and then Michael Hempstead is going to be speaking on managing finances, because people say, oh, I'm just thinking about my mortgage. I got to think about this. But there's a lot more to owning a home. So he's going to bring the pros and the cons of owning the homes and how to get started,
That's going to be very, very interesting. I do want to talk a little bit about the credit score. And I know along with the down payment, the credit score is one of those areas where people are afraid to move forward because they know what their credit score is. If people are required to have to repair their credit score, that may take some time. What do you recommend? Go fix your credit and come back to us, or you work with them during the process? How is that?
Number one, we're going to work with you during the process. Come to us. Let us run your credit. We have software that allow us to look at your profile, and we can give you a game plan to get your scores up. And the great thing that we have something called a rescore process. It's basically it's about a week to get a FICO score updated. Versus you trying to do it yourself, 30 to 60 days. We can do it in about a week. Oh, wow. So I would say definitely come to us first.
Okay, so you work on the credit score.
Right, and that's good, because I'm glad Thomas said that, because we give you I like to say, a laundry list, a needs list of what you should do. If you follow, like, for instance, Thomas had a client of mine, and the wife's score was up, but the husband's score was down, but he gave them exactly what to do, and within a week's time, his score came up. So if they follow the laundry list, as I like to say, and do exactly, and don't tarry or drag behind, or procrastinate, you can be in a home. A lot of times when you get the laundry list, there is a slowness there. But if you get the information to Thomas and Tom, he has a site called Fast Forward. To fast forward, that you can sort of come into the office. Some people say, well, I don't have a laptop to scan anything. I don't have a fax. But Thomas has a program called Fast Forward, and you can just put everything through that link, and he gets everything that way. So if you just keep focused, you can get into your home quicker than you think.
What is your typical, and I want to hold you to it, I don't even know if you want to mention it, because we definitely not making the guarantees or promises here. But typically, how long does it take for someone to get into their new home?
Well, the first step that differentiate me and my team from a lot of the lenders, I do a full pre-approval up front. That means I'm going to do your credit profile. I'm going to do your income, your assets, your job history. I'm going to do everything before you even meet up with a realtor. Okay. So because of the fact that I do everything up front, by the time I hand you off to a realtor, your loan is done. Yes. You have a real approval. Only thing we need to add in is that property. Right. And as long as we do it that way, typically 14 to 21 days, because all the hard work is already done. Right. Now, if we come in at the tail end, let's say you've been speaking with a realtor, you have decent credit, I can't get you approved for a program, but we haven't did a lot of the upfront work, typically 21 to 30 days. So we still have a fast process because a lot of our processes are automated, and kind of really helps us out a lot.
Yeah, it does. And and then what I like about working with Mountain West Financial, they do give you constantly every Friday I get an update, because I'm like, okay, where we at here? And with the client. So it's good because we keep abreast on each one of them to make sure they follow suit. If they run into a difficulty, maybe they couldn't get this or couldn't get paperwork, then Thomas will give them another suggestion of what to do. So we want to get them in a home. We want to see those nice smiling faces. And I like to say, here you are. I put a red ribbon on the door, cut into your new home. And they will be so happy too.
That is special. That's those memories, those moments
Right.
that you never want to forget. I love the touch with the red ribbon. I think that's just so beautiful. Now, let me just ask you that the process of 30 days, I would say 30 to 60 days, even at that, seems really fast. I mean, because thinking about a home, you kind of think it's going to take a lot of time. It's going to take months and, maybe a year or so for me to get in my home. So 30 to 60 days, I think, is excellent. Now, when you are working with home buyers, especially first-time home buyers, what areas do you work in? Maybe someone has their desires. I really want to live in Downey. I really want to live in Beverly Hills. I'm really set. Do you just pre-qualify based on we pre-qualify for you for this amount and you can find them a home in any area, or how does that process work?
Basically, I pre-approve them for any area. Area. Now, but the trick to it is this. If we stick to the traditional program, whether it's Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, FHA, the pre-approvals for anywhere. But if we're going to do one of the down payment assistance programs, certain programs are statewide and certain programs are city and county restricted.
Okay.
I mean, they only work in a certain area. That's why the DPR system on my website, Down Payment Resource Center, you put in a generic address and zip code, it'll give you the exact programs that are available for that exact area you want. And it also sends me an email. It says, hey, Tom, Anita's looking in Carson, California. These are the programs that she's pre-approved for. Let's get her documentation, see if we can't get her approved for this program right here. So I'll get that laundry list ahead of time. Now, the key is, once you get that laundry list, do you want to go with that program or do you want to go with one of the other ones? Because you might be approved for 4 to 5 to 10 different programs.
Right.
And one of the things I like to do is filter through and figure out which one of these programs is the best program for you.
That's true. And that's why we said in our next home ownership tour with Catherine McGill, she has a list as well of the different programs and where you can buy in LA City or LA County. So we do try to help everyone, because if someone want to live in Inglewood, or maybe they want to live in Compton or just LA City. So we have, Catherine is really good. She will give you a list of those areas where you can purchase, and she will help you with that down payment assistance as well.
Oh yeah, one more thing too. With Catherine, the first time home buyers, you need to take a class. Right. Guess what? You come to one of our events with Catherine, you get your certificate at the end of the class.
Oh, wow.
And it's good. That certificate is good for 1 year. So it's not like a rush. She is so awesome, and you will get your certificate, and she's full of a lot of good information as well. She's an awesome person.
Matter of fact, we just did an event with her for her nonprofit a couple of months ago over in the city of Long Beach. And I mean, we had everybody there. I'm talking about, you had your first time buyers there, you had your title people there, you had your escrow, we had people talking about credit, had people talking about saving your money, how to balance a bank account. I mean, when we say we try to educate, we really take it to the basics, because it all starts from, I mean, I wish they had these classes in school, but they don't.
Oh my goodness.
How to budget a checkbook, balance a checkbook. But guess what? These are things that we're trying to equip people with. These are lifetime skills that we're passing forward.
Right.
And so we're paying it forward.
That's true. Because, when you're coming up, your parents, you're coming up at home, you're growing up, your parents, they say you need to buy a home, but do they really give you those guidelines of how to save for a home? Do they tell you about those expenses, emergency expenses? Plumbing may go out, and you say, oops, I didn't save for that, but this is why we want to get this seminar out here to people and educate them so they'll know what to expect and what not to expect. So this is why we do it. We want to help the people. And like Thomas said, that, you know, a lot of the Black people, they feel, well, I have to rent all my life. No, you don't. You don't. There are programs for you. There's low to moderate income programs that you can get into. Your LIFA program, which is awesome. So there's so many available programs to everyone out there. You just need to come and hear about them because we are for them.
And also, never ever say you have all the information unless you show up to one of these workshops, because you might think you make too much money. Guess what? We have programs where the income levels are a lot higher than what you think they are. So show up to the program, show up to the workshop on Saturday in Irvine. Come on out, speak to us. You know, call me by my name, call Anita, call one of the speakers. Come introduce yourself to us and ask questions. That's the whole point of these events is to get people to engage with us. Because I don't like getting in front of a room and just talking. I'd rather get in front of a room and have a conversation. Right. You know, I want you to feel as though you are a part of the process of the event.
And they are. So that's why we have from 9:30 to 10, the meet and greet with the speakers. Once again, the speakers are Michael Hempstead, Managing Your Finances. We have Lori and Kellett and Dylan Rowland from Equity Wise. Lori's going to be speaking on how the difference between a mobile home and buying a regular home. And this is Dylan is Unison Loan, right?
Yeah, Dylan is going to talk about it's like the multi-million-dollar program. So guess what? We have everything from the low end to the high end.
You want to buy in Palos Verdes?
We got a program for you.
Want to buy in Villa Park? We have a program for you. So we got you covered, you know. So you should come out. It's going to be an enjoyable time. We'll have the refreshments again, and we'll have a little sandwich for you guys, you know, something to make your visit with us awesome, right?
Exactly.
So
it definitely sounds like it. Now we are coming down to the last few minutes of the show, and what I like to do at the end of every show is just allow my guests the opportunity to speak directly to our audience and let them know what you want them to take away from your interview. So I'll give each of you a couple of minutes.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, I'll go first. Main thing I want people to take away from the from our tour is that you can be a homeowner. You can. Only thing you need is the proper tools. And my whole thing I want to be able to do is be a facilitator to just pass the information on to you. You can go to whoever you want to go through, but let me at least show you the right way to do it. And that's what I want them to know.
Right. And you know what? My thing is, a lot of time people are procrastinators. Don't procrastinate to come out, because knowledge is power, and we're here to educate you, to come out and hear what each one of the speakers will say. You will truly be blessed. I mean, you really would, because I even still go to different seminars, because every day something is changing. So I go to help, to bring back to our seminars to help other people. So come out. Just come out and enjoy yourself. Come relax, enjoy the day.
And it's free.
Absolutely free. We'll feed you.
We're going to feed you too.
And someone said, are you going to have coffee? We'll have coffee there too. You know, you can sit in and bring your drinks inside the room as well. So come out, enjoy. And there's door prizes. The first one there gets a great surprise. So come on out. Tell a friend, tell a neighbor, and join us on Saturday, June the 8th, the Road to Home Ownership Tour. And listen, they can RSVP as well on Eventbrite.com. So just come on out. We have room for all.
Okay, and would you give us the address again, please?
Absolutely. It's 2010 Main Street in Irvine, California. Free parking. You may drive around and say, oh, there's no place to park. The parking is free. And you'll see a big green sign that says event parking. Park under the structure. We're on the first floor, and come on in. We look forward to seeing you.
And please pre-register over at Eventbrite. Just look for the mortgage and real estate workshop, and you should be able to find us on Eventbrite.
Yeah, or you just go under the date, June 8th, 2019. You'll find us under there too.
The Road to Home Ownership Tour. I would like to thank both of you for being a guest on today's episode of Ask Sharifah Videocast.
My pleasure. It's a pleasure.
And thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
You are so welcome, and I definitely have to thank everyone for tuning in. Thank you for all the likes, the love, the comments. Please go ahead and share this interview, because the information and knowledge that Thomas and Anita Hill are sharing is this Saturday, June 8th, the Road to Home Ownership Tour. And I definitely have to thank our sponsor, Fireball Approved. So before you rent any property, we're talking about rental here, but before you rent any property, any travel, vacation, rental, please make sure it's Fireball Approved. Make sure it's legit and not a scam. And you can do that at fireballapproves.com. For more interviews, to be a guest, or for sponsorship opportunities, please visit my website at AskSharifah.com. Until then, everyone have a wonderful day. Bye now.